Welcome to Convicted Hearts. I am Jen, your host, and today I have the privilege of being here with someone that I have admired for quite some time. I'm here with Canyon. How are you today, Canyon?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm excited that we finally got to connect. I've been following you on Instagram for a while, and I really like what you're doing and how you're educating people on mental health and a lot of prison reform.
Thank you. Yeah, it's time due that we do this, so I'm happy to be
Yeah.
here.
Great, great. Can I just ask you what is the background? What made you so passionate about what you do?
So the short story is my brother is currently incarcerated. It happened when I was 16, and my whole family kind of got sent into a train wreck, as you'd say, and I saw how much it affected my family and what my family went through, and I thought, okay, well, there's roughly 2.9 million people in American prisons.
Mhm.
So how many other families are going through exactly what my family just went through? And I can't take credit for the business we've created. It was actually my brother's idea, but I'm just running it for him because he obviously can't from where he is. So we thought, how are we going to be able to help families like ours? And
Mhm.
that's the short story why we wanted to start doing what we do.
I love that. I love that. That really touches home for me as well. I have a brother who's incarcerated, and what you said about it being a train wreck for the family, a lot of people, unless you go through it, you don't know what it does to
Yeah,
the family.
definitely.
For sure.
That's been a big thing for me where I try to advocate for this on our Instagram is most people who don't have firsthand experience of what's or secondhand experience of what's wrong within our system, they have no reason to think about it. And it's not bad on them or their fault. They just have never been presented with an opportunity to need to care about it. And that's where
Right.
I think we come in.
Right. It's sort of out of sight, out of mind for most people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The mental health factor is something that really, I respect that you touch on that a lot as well, because I don't really feel personally like that's taken as seriously or as sensitively as it should in our prison system. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that's true?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't think that people with mental health issues and especially severe mental illnesses get the correct treatment in prison. And a big we advocate for is because my brother actually has schizophrenia. That's what landed him in prison.
Hmm.
And the first 6 months, roughly, I might get the times slightly wrong. Getting him on medication was hard, and he was clearly out of it. Things were clearly wrong, and it was a struggle to get him on basic medication. And that's at a wide scale. So everybody who's struggling with mental illnesses, and for the most part, don't even get medication. My brother
Hmm.
has a lucky situation and a rare situation, which I'm incredibly grateful for that it went the way it did. It's just treatment is lacking. We don't have the resources available. And there's inside most prisons, there's no person someone can go to and truly be, hey, I need medication for this. They have to go through a whole process. They'll send you to different wings. So say you go to medical doc center and you say, hey, I've been hallucinating. Let's the example for schizophrenia. There's a bunch of different examples, but we'll use that. And they go and they'll just go, oh, go to the psych ward. And then the psych ward will say, oh, we're not going to deal with that. Go to the medical doc. And it's just, we don't have a clear path for people to get help. That's where I truly see what's wrong
Yeah.
with mental illnesses in our system.
Yeah, it really does seem like they get the runaround. It
Yes.
seems that way a lot. It also, I've noticed in some family situations, it seems to be frowned upon in the prison system to seek help for mental health issues. So I can imagine that makes it even more difficult. But now, can I ask, was your brother diagnosed before entering the prison system, or
No,
once?
he was not. He was diagnosed maybe 1 month into his sentence.
Oh, okay, okay. So you guys didn't, it was all new to you as a family as well then.
Yeah. So it was, my parents had to go read a bunch of books, find out everything about schizophrenia, and it was completely out of the blue. And he was 18 at the time. He's 2 years older than me,
Mhm.
and I talked to him on a daily basis. He lived about 8 hours away from us, and he was complete. He had he was struggling a little bit with depression, but he was 18, moving away from the house. That's pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, none of us could even understand that. And everybody in our community were very tight knit. We live in a small town. Everybody's like, that's not his name's Cyrus, the Cyrus we know.
Right.
And so none of us were prepared for it. And a big thing for me, which is hard, I actually talked with him on the phone about 6 hours before he was incarcerated. And we had a regular conversation, you know, how's it going? So it was a schizophrenic break, and was completely undiagnosed before then.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of people are diagnosed when they are first incarcerated. And I think I read somewhere that it is that age group, like the early 20s or late teens, that particular diagnosis normally happens, schizophrenia.
Yep. That's the main time it pops up.
Okay. Yeah. What can you tell me about your research? You seem to have new information that you're posting and really helping people. Are you just constantly looking things up and reading up on new medical stuff?
Yeah, I'm always, I do research, you know, every single day. I have multiple newsletters and sources that give me information every single day. A big shout out to prisonpolicy.org. If you just want to get basic facts, they have everything you need to know and ways to help. I get a lot of information from them. But yeah, Googling stuff for, you know, content to inform people, and a lot of books. Read a lot of books. There's a bunch of autobiographies on people in prison, and they give you a lot of insights of the kind of ecosystem within prison. And then when it comes to just raw facts, a lot of just research. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful because it's intimidating when your loved one is first incarcerated and you really don't know how to navigate, you know, the system and where to go, or, you know, how to even contact them at first. So you talk to your brother every day. What are his thoughts on what you guys are doing? Is he pretty proud of it?
He loves it. He gives me too much credit. I'd say that, you know, he's always, you're doing so good. You're running the force, but really without him, none of this would be here. So I'm incredibly grateful for him. And since, you know, our main thing is artists is what we work with in prison. He's one of our artists. He's a main artist. He's the first artist we had. And he's able to contribute in that way. He does a lot of pieces, like the shirt I'm wearing right now. It's hard to see, but he drew this piece, and he's able to give me a lot of ideas. So I think for him, it gives him a big purpose, because that's a big problem with people in prison. They have nothing to do, and they don't have anything to spend their time on. And for him, you know, it gives him daily activities of what I'm going to do. So I think it's really beneficial for him and his health.
Absolutely. And there's something about being creative, I think, that really keeps the mind going. Just so people know and are clear about what it is that you guys do, you have your brother as well as other incarcerated individuals that draw art for items like your t-shirt, stickers.
Yep.
Okay. And people can actually order these?
Yeah. So the short breakdown would be, we work with incarcerated artists to raise money for them and their families, as well as other nonprofits. We mainly target wrongful incarcerations and mental illness treatment. So how it works is, we find any artist. We currently have 10 artists. They'll send us their art. So like
I can see this
behind me right here. And we'll turn it into stickers, greeting cards, shirts, and sell them. And they will get a royalty on every single product sold with their art. So we have it with a t-shirt. If you design a t-shirt, every t-shirt we sell, the family and the artist will get 33% of all of the profit from that. And then another 33% goes to other nonprofits that we really support. A big one I want to give a shout out to is Positive Change Program. They're actually my favorite program. They work with dogs inside of incarceration.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of the 33% is kind of our overhead, allows us to buy shirts, allows us to ship them out, and et cetera.
Yeah, to keep it going.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, do you have, say there's an artist that's incarcerated that would like to get on board with sending some art to you. Is that possible?
Yeah, so we'll work with any artist, no matter what their story is. So usually it's a family member will reach out to me, and I will correspond with them, and they'll get me their artwork. And sometimes if they don't want to send originals, they can send me scans. if they send originals, we will sell their original art for them, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where we're able to get them more money, because you can only get so much off a $5 sticker. But when
Right.
you sell art, we can raise more money for them. So yeah, they can just reach out to me. We do incentivize good behavior. So when we sell original art, the amount of profit they can make from the art will be determined on the actions they've made to prove that they want to be rehabilitated. So if they're in a prison that has programs available, if
Mm-hmm.
they've shown that they are trying to get in programs, they're going through work programs, they will receive a higher profit than the person who is reluctant to be rehabilitated. We'll still help them out and still give them money, but we want to incentivize good behavior.
I love that. Yeah, that's great because it really is like, it's a rewarding good behavior and
Yeah.
striving to do better and rehabilitating, which is in itself, difficult in the circumstances our loved ones are in. I really just love this idea that, you guys have put together and are doing, and you did it as a family.
Yeah. I'm very
Yeah,
grateful.
yeah, that's amazing. How is your family doing today as far as like you guys holding together and just for those of us that come from having a loved one that's incarcerated, how would you say that you guys help, I don't know, hold each other together or lift each other up?
I would say I have an exceptional family, and I'm very thankful and have a great opportunity within my family.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing very good now, and we're very strong. And immediately when his incarceration happened, everybody came together. We didn't split our separate ways. Obviously, I was younger, so I kind of did, it's like
Mm-hmm.
isolated myself a little bit, but everybody was very including. And my parents immediately were there for Cyrus. So I have to give so much kudos to my parents. They are amazing parents. For the first maybe year of his incarceration, they would drive down 8 hours to where he was incarcerated every other week and stay for a weekend so they could visit him
Mm-hmm.
and spend time with him. And I went a couple times. I'd maybe been down 5, but I was in school at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout that process, super strong being for them. Obviously, it was hard for my parents, but they put a strong front forward. And
Yeah.
I think it was beneficial for them because I had a very strong mentality through the whole thing, because I look at the lens as always the glass is half full. I look at the situation as what was the worst that could happen and what happened. We got incredibly lucky with the situation and things worked out very well, where for other people they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it made my parents not have to work very hard on making sure I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we've stayed very close to it. And now they go down every third week. He's in a new facility, so he's only about 4 hours away, and they go visit him. And me and Cyrus talk every other day or daily on the phone, and they talk to him a bunch. So I'd say we're doing exceptional.
That's great. Shout out to your parents because I know it's not easy, watching my parents go through it and other families as well. And to you as well, it makes a huge difference to have that kind of mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very grateful.
Do you have plans for the future of things that you may be liking to add to what you guys do, or anything you'd like to share?
Yes, we have extensive plans. This is my life work. I will be doing this till I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this now, I say it to other people, but I will be part of the movement or leading the movement as to reform the entire prison system. Like I stand by, when I'm 40, when I'm 50, and when I'm 60, I will be solving this problem, until the day I'm in my casket. So we've got a lot of plans going on, and I really like what you're doing with the whole podcast. I think it's super beneficial, bringing a bunch of people in. I think it's a big part of this. So we have doing media, doing art, doing our shirts, and eventually we'd like to open our own podcast. We'd like to get a brick and mortar museum-esque gallery, so where we can show people the art really in person, a lot of stories.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start doing in-person meetups where we can get together, do say rallies, and just promote this cause in general. And longer down the road, we want to open up a couple businesses that are very oriented around hiring ex-convicts, as you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer incarcerated people, but
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
for the general public. And it would then incentivize where people can get a job when they leave prison, because that is a driving factor why our recidivism, yep, I say that word wrong all the time,
Me too.
is so high because people leave prison with no resources and can't get a job. And they'll end up back in prison either by committing a crime or because they have nowhere to go and they end up homeless. So if we're able to create multiple businesses around the world, around the US that grow, say we have a lot of locations, we're able to give those people an opportunity to leave and have a job and have a place to live. That would be another part, is getting housing that's relatively cheap and affordable, because I see that's the most beneficial way to get people on their feet. You know, say you leave, we've been helping them with programs. They have a job and a house. Their chance of recommitting a crime is going to go down exponentially.
Right.
So our final thing would be getting programs inside prisons as well. We plan to do that within the next 3 years and really teaching skills. So say they're serving a 10-year sentence. Currently, most people are coming out worse than when they entered. And that's a sad truth.
Yeah.
And if they could spend their 10-year, 20-year, 30-year sentence, 5-year sentence, learning a trade, learning computers, they're going to use that time beneficially to be rehabilitated. So that's where I see programs are a big thing. That's our 20, 30 year.
Yeah, that is awesome. I you know what? I believe you, Canyon. Like just hearing you speak, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna do this. I could see it happening. That's amazing. Like you said, there's an incentive to things in life, and that helps to teach all of us. Like, even those of us out here in the free world, like if there's an incentive to something, we're gonna, apply ourselves as best as we can, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's also a lot of, I'm sure you've been reading about it and seen them, a lot of laws that are changing. And so it seems that if some of these laws that are changing, a lot of people will probably be coming home sooner than their original sentences. So I could see how what you're doing would really be beneficial in the near future, even.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we want to be able to give an opportunity, for everybody's loved ones and everyone that we all care about, because nobody wants to see them reoffend and end up back in that situation. And that's where I see we can most beneficially, relatively achieve that.
Yeah, definitely. How would you, if there's a family, that's going to see this and they're listening and they want to get involved with, maybe prison reform or helping to push for change, how would you suggest they do so?
My number one thing, we have a video coming out soon, but what I would say is it's just get educated, join communities, as much as obviously I'll support mine because it's the community we run, but any community around prison reform, go to any page. And there's someone I correspond with a lot, Sarah DeArmond, I think is her name. Okay. And she advocates for falsely incarcerated. Really just join a community, get the facts so you understand what's going on. And, maybe it comes up in dinner, you share it, your friends can get educated, because the number one thing is the more people that are educated, the higher chance we can pass legislation and petitions. So it's kind of a multi-step process. You get educated, and if you want to donate, say buy artwork, go donate to Positive Change, go donate to other organizations, that expedites the process. But really follow people who are supporting this cause, because there's going to be a time where everybody says, hey, we need this petition to get signed. And if through that time everybody's focusing, they're staying up to date. Say we have a family that's currently has a loved one incarcerated. If they're able to get all their friends to pay attention, then when that petition needs to get signed, we're going to have more voices. And the more voices, the louder we are when it comes to, say, Congress and passing laws.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. As far as the program you mentioned, was it positive?
Positive Change, and it's like paw, like a dog paw.
Yes, I've seen that, but I had spoken with a gentleman who was part of that once, and he really said that impacted his feeling about himself and really helped his empathy to grow.
They're amazing. And I know there's a lot of other nonprofits out there, and I wish I could give them all credit, but they're what I know a lot about. I keep up to date with them, and they are really able to give incarcerated individuals a purpose, because like we said, most of them don't. And they're training. So the Positive Change works with a company called Marley's Mutts. which is they rescue dogs. So they
Mhm.
rescue dogs, and then they work with Positive Change to have incarcerated individuals train the dogs to go live with families. So they're actually really contributing and helping out, and they get a lot of mental benefit from that. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
if anybody's wanting to support a program inside a prison, they are the program I'd really, really recommend.
Now, I'm definitely going to link all of your socials and everything in the description of this video, and where people can go to order, a T-shirt or a sticker.
Thank
Um,
you.
if people have a loved one that want to submit art, they can get a hold of you, I'm sure, through your IG, right? So,
Yep. They can message us on any of our socials and our email on our website.
okay, wonderful. I am so grateful that you met with me today and, gave me a rundown of what you do. I could tell in your videos on Instagram how passionate you are about it. So I definitely wanted to hear the backstory.
Well,
And
thanks for giving me the opportunity. I'm very grateful.
yes, I appreciate it. And the more I think we all, as the prison community can partner together and support each other, I feel like only good can come from that. So, you know, once again, thank you. I appreciate you being here, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Cannon, we'll talk to you soon. Everybody out there, remember, always keep your heart convicted.